Let's get some beers and let's go hit some trails. You know what I'm saying? We can make this thing. What's wrong with this truck, man? This thing is so sweet. Ooh.
So who doesn't like a good old-fashioned 4x4? 1978 Bronco Ranger. As you can see, we got our Andes mint kind of green here. Green on green. The Hulk. Oh! And you guys, this thing is nice and clean. Check this out. Green with your bright green interior. Oh, these seats are so freaking comfortable. Oh, what are we doing on this thing? Well, let's get inside. Let me show you.
Well, let's get into this. This is a 400M. This was a 2-barrel setup. What the customer did was he ended up putting a camshaft in it, so it's got a little bit of a cam in it, aluminum intake, you know, carburetor, your normal stuff. I'm surprised it didn't do a set of headers on it, but that's not the end of the world.
But the big thing with this is it's just not running good. I am not a huge fan of the Edelbrock carburetors. These things are notorious for running pig fat at idle and then just going dead lean. You can adjust these carbs and buy the tuning kit and go to town and go nuts. Me personally, I would just buy like a 4150 Holly and put it on, do the tuning on that. There's so many out there that are good. There are some that are just absolutely horrible. Spend a little bit of money, but you could get into a nice carburetor new for probably 550 bucks, maybe 600 bucks. But I'm gonna try to work some magic on that. Also, the timing was set by ear. I'm actually gonna establish timing. This runs very, very fat. You can smell it when you're driving it for its test drives and things like that. So we're gonna get timing established. I'm gonna try to adjust the carburetor. Also, the transmission in this thing slips horribly. And I'm pretty sure that the transmission is gonna need a full rebuild. I know he redid the engine and all that, but you know, it's 48 years old. And same year I was born, you know, 78. So this thing is 48 years old. I would definitely say that we're gonna have to go through. So another car nut and friend, Nick over at Master Shift, who specializes in transmissions and rear ends, and they do a hell of a job. If we pull this transmission out, or the customer wants to pull the transmission out, bring it over to him. He'll take care of them, rebuild the tranny, who knows, maybe put a little shift kit in it and, you know, maybe put like a 2000 stall converter in it just to wake it up a little bit, I think would really, really help. But first things first, let's get this thing running good.
Let's see where this timing's set at. So this thing is only idling at about, this thing's only idling at about 700. This is what I mean by the carburetor. That's bad. That is garbage. There we go. That's closer to 900, that's better. That's about 30 degrees of timing. And idle. Woo! So 30 degrees at idle. We're at 46 to almost 47 degrees, revving it up. That is way too much freaking timing. So we're gonna pull a little timing out of this thing. At 34.
hey man, how are you actually getting the carburetor set up on idle when it doesn't even have a tachometer in it? Just so you guys know, my timing gun, I can set the timing where I want it, and this is also RPM, so it'll tell me what it's coming off of the plug. So that is how I set things up. It's a nice timing gun. It's not the most elaborate, most expensive, but when you're doing a truck like this, or a car like the Mustang that just doesn't have a tach in it, it's really nice. So this carburetor, oh boy, there's a few things that I'm going to adjust. You already saw me playing around a little bit with it. She's backfiring, she's popping, she's just not happy. I can mess with the accelerator pump. This right here is going to be part of the accelerator pump. This is going to push in and actually give you your shot of fuel. You can see it's actually got 3 holes. This one in the middle, one up. You can adjust how much of an actual shot of gas that you can give it. You can play around with that, and then idle mixture screws. Idle mixture screws were turned out very, very far, like over 3 turns. The old rule of thumb was once you make it past about 2.5 turns on idle mixture screws, you have other issues going on with the idle circuit. On a 4150, I'd start looking at it going, okay, if you're 3.5 turns out, 4 turns out, I would start looking at the air bleeds that are on the idle side up top in a 4150. With an Edelbrock, you really can't get into that too much. That's another reason why I like some of the aftermarket carburetors. So I'm gonna see if it's giving it too much of a shot. This is a 750 on a cammed over 400M. I mean, these are not high horsepower. Being a 400 cubic incher, the 750 shouldn't be god awful. A 650 probably be a little bit better, should be a little snappier. But I would say the biggest thing is that Edelbrock carb. I can make them work decent, but not as good as a Holly. I'm sorry, just you can argue with me all you want. If Edelbrocks were the king or the Carter AFB was king, everybody would be running them. You would see them during dragon drives. You would see them all over the drag strip. What do you see? 4150s. You see Braswells. You see Pro Systems. You see Quick Fuels. You don't see a whole lot of Edelbrocks. All right. So we are done with this Performer RPM carburetor, blah, 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 blah. Sometimes these things will work, sometimes they won't. And in this application, it is not working on the truck. This is a 750 that he ended up getting, I don't know if it was through a swap meet or a buddy of his gave him this carburetor to try. Guys, it just ain't working. So we did get something else.
So shiny. Oh, this is so
Scooter,
cool.
Scooter.
What?
Put the carburetor. You know what? Take it back. Don't put it down. Put it down. I tell you what, buddy. We're gonna have Scooter show you what the new carburetor is. Why don't you show him the new carburetor?
I'll show him what's going on. Yeah. This is so cool. It's not a supercharger, but it's gonna supercharge the performance of this bad boy. Oh, this Bronco. Oh, Bronco.
Focus, buddy. Come on, focus.
I'm just having fun, man. Okay, so more on the carburetor. This, you see, this is a 650. That was a 750. That was no good. That was no good. You hit the gas and it just You hit the gas again and and it just didn't like it. It just didn't like it. It wasn't snappy. Snappy, like a snapping turtle. That was more like a But this is cool. Wanna know why? It's a vacuum secondary, 650 Brawler. Oh, what's the brawl? Oh, you want a brawl? Oh, pow! Oh, makes your nose all red like Rudolph. Oh, you got Rudolph.
Scooter, hold on, wait, buddy, hold on. I know you're having fun. Wait.
You know, he was the best one that Santa really. But I want to talk about Santa Claus.
Santa Claus is fine, but later.
Okay. So, this is cool because of the fact that you have adjustable idle mixer screws in the front and in the back. Also, you got those right there. You know what those are? I know what those are. I'm going to educate you, and I'm going to say it slowly. Slowly. Bleed screws. Those are air bleed screws, you silly goose. You're such a silly goose. So we're gonna be able to tune this and make it super snappy. So when you hit that gas pedal and you wanna make that vroom vroom noise, you wanna make sure it goes vroom, vroom, vroom. This is gonna help, and it's gonna be so much nicer. So when we take this for a test drive, you're gonna see you can see this is gonna make a world of difference. It's not boost, it's not nitrous, but it's definitely gonna help.
No.
Can I put it on?
No, I'm gonna put it on, bud.
But,
Be sad, man. Come on, it's okay.
so he's gonna put it on. I don't get to put it on, he gets to put it on.
Here's his old fuel line coming out of the back side of the carburetor. Why do we have 2 filters? Okay, this one's got a return on it. He was having vapor lock problems with this thing, so he put this on there, and then this runs straight back to the gas tank. It's got an electric pump in it. He wanted to visually see that it still was getting fuel pressure, so he ended up putting this on here, plus a gauge. Well, I will say this, if you have a gauge on it, you don't need that, because you know you're getting fuel pressure. You already have a filter, so you don't need that. We're getting rid of this guy. We're gonna keep this one up front. Do we need the gauge? Not really, because we know the fuel pump is only pushing about 3.5 pounds of fuel pressure, no more than 4. And it doesn't drop, it doesn't go to 0, so we're safe at that point. Yes, I would like to see this thing more around 6.5 pounds, but it's not doing it because of the return. If you disconnected the return, I guarantee this pump would probably double. So it would go from 3.5 to probably close to 7. So that being said, but he needs to run the return because of the vapor lock issues. So I'm gonna modify a couple of things here, and then we're gonna throw the thing onto the truck. I got his fuel filter here, we're all good. I shouldn't have to say this, but I'm gonna say this because it was on this truck this way, and I don't want you guys making the same mistake. When you put your inch plate on, okay, and you're running a 4-hole system like this, I'm not a big fan of these to begin with, but we can get into that in a different story about spacers. Don't put it on this way. Meaning, you still see all the gas? Yeah, still see the gas and stuff? This was puddled with gas. It was installed with this side up. That's your upside, that's your downside. So it was installed upside down. You were getting fuel into this. You can still see the discoloration of it. See what I'm saying? Yeah, make sure you put your inch plates on correctly, because it might cause some of the problems that we were seeing with this thing. Plus, I'm not a big 4-hole fan. I've done dyno tests, tons of them. These compared to an open, I will always run an open. Plus on a dual plane, an open is better than this as well. But this is what he's got. I'm almost half tempted to just cut this thing and make it an open, just grind this out and make this a real open plenum, or maybe I'll see if I got one upstairs, but. Well, she's got an open plenum now. So we got that on there the right way. Let's go grab the carb, get that slapped on here, start getting some fuel to this bad boy, and let's light it off. See that right there? I do not want to just have a metal line and just cut it. That is a big no-no. All it takes is something to shift or move. I don't care how tight you do it, it's gonna leak or it's gonna come off. You've got to remember to flare your ends, okay? That's just fuel line building 101. Make sure you flare your ends. So I'm gonna flare that out, get that hooked up, and as you can see, we're pretty much getting into the home stretch. You can see where this line needs to come up. The return is hooked up right here. You can see that aluminum line going off of there. And then he has this for his fuel line just to keep the heat soaking away from it. He ended up putting this insulation on it, which is not a bad idea by any means. That's pretty good. All right, you guys, we got it on. Everything's ready to rock and roll. Fuel line's hooked up. We got the kick down on with the quick fuel, and Holly makes these. So the quick fuel setup on it for the kick down, throttle's hooked up, all that stuff's hooked up. Now, I'm gonna tell you guys how to set your carburetor up as a base. We're gonna work on 3 different things. We're gonna work on float bowls, we're gonna work on idle mixture screws, and we're gonna do accelerator pump. Just those three things. Everything else is tearing it apart and really getting into it. These are the things that we can adjust on the outside. Where do we wanna have them? On these glass sights. Now, some of them are gonna be an old-fashioned little screw that you have to take out and then you gotta look at it. That style, we're right at the bottom of those threads. On something that has a glass sight like this, I try to be about halfway. I don't try to go any more than halfway, and I don't want to be at the bottom of the glass. So anywhere in there is going to get us pretty close. And that's what I'm talking about. So imagine a halfway. I don't want to be at the bottom. I certainly don't want to be at the top. So if I'm a little bit below halfway, that I'm like a quarter of the way up, guys, it's enough that you can start the thing. How we're going to adjust it is right here. The nut actually adjusts the needle and seat. That top screw, all that does is seal things up so this won't move anymore. Now we're gonna do the fronts and the backs. Idle mixture screws, this little screw right here, and this one in particular has a metering block on the back. So idle mixture screws like this. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go all the way in till it stops, and then you're gonna count out 1.5 turns. Since it's a flathead, yep, you're gonna do every time it goes around. It would be the next time that bottom one comes to the top, that's a half. And then 1, and then 1.5. We're gonna set everything up at 1.5. Then, now the accelerator pump, this one, some people have, got it down pat. This will get you guys close. So what we're gonna do, I'm moving my block around since I'm really, really short. Well, I'm 5'9", so I'm still short. But the accelerator pump, what we want to do is imagine giving it a little blast of air and break the butterflies loose first. The vacuum and everything in the motor, you have to crack the seal loose. So what I want to do is I don't want fuel to start and be puddled on there and then I open it up and it goes. I want to crack it loose and then I want to introduce fuel. So to do that, what I'm going to do is the accelerator pump, I'm going to set it up so there's a little bit of slop in the accelerator pump. What do I mean by that? This little guy right here, that's the accelerator pump. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push on the very bottom where this arm is. See where this arm goes into the accelerator pump here? This is the spring that goes to the throttle. This arm, I'm gonna stick my finger underneath and I'm gonna put it to where I feel it press against the accelerator pump. I'm not pushing in, I'm just taking out the slop. Then, I want to feel, do I have any slop in here or is it pushing? If there isn't some slop in there to where I can take this, while I'm holding that with my other hand, that's holding the camera, and I want to be able to wiggle this and actually have a little bit of a gap. Guys, I'm only talking like 10, maybe 20 thousandths of a gap. But when you sit there and you hold the arm and then you grab the spring and pull that arm up on top of it, I want to see a little bit of a gap and have a little bit of a drop. That'll go up and down, just a little bit. That's what's gonna crack those throttle blades open, and then we're gonna get our shot of fuel. Adjust your accelerator pump, fire the thing off, and then from there, we'll go through and adjust the snappiness and all that stuff. So, get that done first, let's fire this thing off.
Now I went through and did all the adjustments that I told you guys on, and I'm setting timing right now, and the way this distributor's set up is at idle, I got about 14 degrees. When I rev it up and it seems like it has all the advance at about 2,800, 3 grand, we're at 38 degrees timing. But idle mixture screws now are out at 2 turns. You can see me hit the gas here and it's not falling on its face. Yeah, there's no hesitation in this thing anymore. So now, timing's set pretty good. I think the carburetor's pretty good. I'm gonna double check for any fuel leaks and all that stuff, and I say we take this thing for a drive around the block. Yeah, let's see how she does. Oh. Forgot what it's like to be up in the air. The Silverado, I dropped it like 5 inches. And yes, the steering column needs a little bit of loving, so you're gonna hear that thing squeaking like crazy. If you're not getting into it hard, you can feel it shift and downshift and all that. if you let her eat, it sounds like a centrifugal, like on a snowmobile. It literally just slides into gear, but it's slipping so bad, the RPMs are just skyrocketing. So I'm not getting on this thing. But we'll still check it for throttle response. I mean, it's not what it was doing before when I first drove it. It was terrible. I got the kick down hooked up, but it's got a lot of slop to it. But it doesn't seem to be bad where it's at. Before, when the kick down was working, man, it was way too quick. And this was originally a 2-barrel setup, and he ended up putting a 4-barrel intake on it, that Edelbrock carburetor, and he put a cam in it as well. So the kickdown cable was kind of goofy, or it's actually an actual metal arm, and it would just downshift way too quick. Yeah, she's not loading up. Normally when I would sit here, you hear I was just idling. It would get slower. Yeah, I had to let out of it so it would go into gear, but I wanted to feel how quick it was, just kind of putting my foot down into it. It's noticeably better. Man, yeah, it's noticeably better. If I downshift it, or slow down a little bit here. So if I manually downshift it, so we've got second. Just want to feel how crisp it is. Yeah, that's not bad. That's so much nicer. I think he'll be happy. I definitely think he'll be happy with this. I mean, don't get me wrong, guys. We swapped the carburetor around, and I got it tuned in right. It's not like I just added 200 horsepower to this 400M, but it's definitely more responsive. Like I said before, the timing is almost at 50 degrees. Things are all out of whack. That other carburetor was just absolutely horrible. Yeah, we're sitting here buzzing at 60, and it's good. It's doing its job right. So I hope you guys enjoyed working on this old Bronco. Like I said, this thing's a relic, man. This is an absolute time machine. It was fun working on this, but I want to get back to working on cars that I don't have to set wood up on, so I'm too freaking short to be able to get into the engine compartment here. But this hopefully helped you guys out as well, of being able to do some carburetor adjustments if you're swapping things over. Hit me down in the comments if you want me to get a little more detailed into the carburetor world. Like always, my friends, I do got to say this. Some of you out there are subscribed, but go into your notification bell and put in there all, because I know for a fact a lot of people are not getting notified when these videos come out. Make sure you go into the little bell that you see up there, go into that and get it into all, so you will be notified when everything on this channel comes out. Like always, my friends, if you wouldn't mind sharing the content, giving it a little like, a little thumbs up, I'm always appreciative of it. So until we meet again, my friends, I will see you in the next video. Woo!